What's up, guys? Welcome back to Classic Octane. I am Taylor. We are on the KZ750 project again today. Two main things I want to do. One is pull the tank off and start to clean it out, get some of this metal rescue stuff in there. I want to try this out and see if we can't remove some of those rust deposits. I'm sure it's going to take like 24-48 hours, so we probably won't finish it in this video, but I at least want to get it started. The main thing I want to focus on is pulling off those carbs, getting them disassembled. I have the ultrasonic cleaner getting heated up now. I haven't tried it out yet, so I'm curious to see how that goes. And ideally, before the end of this video, we can get the bike to start and run on gasoline, probably from my external fuel tank, but actually kind of get it to run, let it idle for a while, and I'm kind of interested to see how that goes. So let's get to it. Pulling the gas tank on this is going to be super easy because the fuel lines are so old, they are brittle and cracked already, so you can literally just pull this up, get it in the garage, and I'll show you what the inside of this thing looks like. So the inside of this gas tank isn't terrible, but it's definitely going to need some work. I'll see if I can't get a flashlight and kind of show you guys down in there. First things first though, I want to pull off this petcock. Pretty loose, so probably been off. Oh, wow, that is very crystallized. That gas is, wow. I don't know how well you guys can see that. Hopefully it's focusing on it. Sorry if it's not. Wow, it's like really crystallized, and that is going to take some soaking. So we'll probably disassemble this and throw it in the ultrasonic cleaner with the carburetor. Try to clean that out a little bit, but let me show you what the inside of the actual tank itself looks like. Give you guys a better idea of that delicious, crusty petcock. Alrighty. Let's see, grab my flashlight. See if you can see down in there. So you can see there's some rusting. It's not the worst gas tank I've ever seen. You can see the latch itself's got quite a bit. Looks like there was some fuel, mostly on this side, that's all turned to varnish. So that's why I think it's going to take a day or two of soaking. So what I'm going to try is, like I mentioned earlier, I was actually sent this metal rescue stuff from the company like a year ago, and I've literally just been sitting on it. And this is just a concentrate, so you put this whole bottle with 1 gallon of water. So I'm just going to put that whole mixture in the tank and, you know, obviously tape off our petcock so it doesn't leak, and then just kind of swish it around, let it sit for a couple of hours, swish around again, you know, tilt it up and let it basically sit all over the bike or the tank for probably 48 hours, maybe 24, I don't know. We'll see how well this stuff works. It says for heavy deposits it can take up to 48, so I'll keep you guys updated as we go. But I'm going to go ahead and pull the carbs off so we can get to work on those. I went ahead and pulled the carbs off. Mine were actually already most of the way off. The airbox and stuff isn't on the bike. So I actually don't even have an airbox for this, but that's fine because we'll probably go pod filters anyway. So I'm going to pull off all of these lines. We'll get the bowls off, pull the tops off. We're pretty much going to disassemble these most of the way down. Definitely enough for me to be able to fit them into the ultrasonic cleaner. It is heating up now. It's about 40 degrees Celsius. Yeah, getting pretty steamy. So I just filled it up with 2 gallons of this Chem Dip carb cleaner. So should do a decent job, hopefully. We'll see. These things are totally gummed up. These slides don't even move, so I'm really curious to see what the inside of these bowls look like. Got you as low as you can go on the tripod. And yes, I am using a proper JIS screwdriver. Everybody always yells at me when I use a Phillips on these old Japanese bikes. Ooh, that thing is on there. Moment of truth. Ooh! That is a lot of varnish. Oh man, the floats don't even move. Well, it's going to be a hell of a first job for our ultrasonic cleaner, that's for sure. Coming. Holy moly. That is one of the worst I've seen. See if you guys can see this. So, you can tell how gummed up that needle and seat are, and whatever this kind of residue is in here. These bad boys are well overdue for a cleaning. So I didn't buy a carb kit just because I wanted to kind of get in here and see how it looked, but I am definitely going to be ordering a carb kit. So we'll see what we can do of kind of bringing back a lot of these parts, but most likely we will be doing a full rebuild now that I see that the inside is super gross. So I'm just going to kind of keep going, start to pull the needle and seat off, start to disassemble a little bit more. I'm not going to bore you guys with all the little nitty-gritty details, so I'll bring you back if I see anything interesting or when we're about to go into the ultrasonic cleaner. So we thought those floats were bad. Look at these bad boys. They're like growing something. I don't know what is going on, but that is, look at the inside of this bowl. Whew. Prepare yourself, ultrasonic cleaner. You got some work to do. Soak the carbs still somewhat together for about 20 minutes, plus probably another couple minutes each side, but with the actual ultrasonic vibrations going on for probably 20 minutes. And you can see it really did a great job on the floats, the bowls. I'm very, very impressed so far. Since I need to get a carb kit, I'm going to go ahead and pause for the night, order a carb kit. I am going to take these even further apart. I just wanted to soak them for a while. Now the choke actually moves, and it'll be a little bit easier to disassemble them the rest of the way now that stuff's kind of freed up a little bit. I am going to also have to buy new floats, I believe. These, you can hear, have carb cleaner in them now because they do have some pinholes. I might look up repairing floats. I've heard some people have good luck doing it. If they're a couple of bucks a piece and they're readily available, I'll probably just replace them just to be safe, but we'll probably look either way. Petcock is coming along nicely. Now that's ready to disassemble all the way, so overall doing pretty well. I'm going to just keep this video going, so we're going to stop right here. I'm going to order a carb kit and hopefully it can get here in the next couple of days and we'll pick it up. Alright guys, it's been a few days. I was waiting for some carb kits to come in. So those are in now. This is kind of where we currently sit. I did decide, because these are $35 a piece, we are going to attempt to solder the tiny little pinholes. There's literally like 1 or 2 little pinholes on one of these, and I think the other one might be fine, or I don't know, we may have a kind of one side on each. Since they're in such good shape otherwise, which I'm pretty surprised because they were really caked and gross, we're going to try to save those. I do need to try and get these jets out of here, which is going to be probably a little bit of a pain, just because they've been in there for a very long time and they're brass, but worst case scenario we can drill them out, but hopefully we can get all of them out and replace them with the new ones in the kit. So I'm going to go ahead and get to work on that and we'll see what we can do. Got the jets replaced. I did have to drill out 2 of them. Luckily the other 2 came out pretty easy. So now I got the carb separated and I'm just going through and kind of cleaning up and replacing these little gaskets and just kind of everything else. Using my air compressor to blow out all the little passages and just make sure they're as clean and kind of gone through as possible, and then we'll hopefully assemble them all back together. I'll kind of just keep going. I'll bring you guys back when we're ready to attempt to solder these floats. Got everything else assembled. So now we are moving on to this solder. Basically what I'm going to do is just kind of use my soldering iron, have it cranked up pretty high. Just kind of heat up the area. If you can see right down here, there's two little pinholes. It's going to be pretty hard for you guys to see, but right in the center of the screen there. So I'm just going to, like I said, heat up that area and just kind of dab some solder in there. I did it on this other one and it worked pretty well. Probably clean that up a little bit, but I did dunk it in some water and saw that no bubbles are coming out. So these are just tiny little pinholes, so it shouldn't take much solder to fill them in. Jump to the next day, got the carbs all put together. Kawasaki does not make it as easy as Honda does for float adjustments. On a Honda, you literally measure, it's like 25 millimeters or whatever the actual measurement is, but you can kind of set the float height. The way Kawasaki wants you to do it is like with a hose kind of running up here, so you let fuel overflow and then you set the actual fuel height. So I'm going to just try it and see how it works with kind of the floats not being adjusted at all, just kind of how they were. Hope that we're in a good spot. If not, we can go through that process, but I really want to just throw them on the bike and see if we can't fire this thing up and have it actually run for a good amount of time. Got the auxiliary fuel tank hooked up, carbs back on. Don't seem to be any leaking or anything, so hopefully our float height is going to be good enough to run with. Got a battery in the battery box back on there as well. So we are ready to give this thing a shot. See if we can't get this thing to start and run on its own fuel. Yeah, I don't think I forgot anything, but only time will tell. Let's do it. Okay, fuel on. Battery box on. I'm gonna put the choke on. All right. Let's see what happens. Battery still sounds weak, even with a fully charged battery box on it. I'm not worried about the smoke because if you remember, I put fogging oil in the cylinders to coat everything, so it's going to smoke a little bit. Not too worried about that. Sit here and run like this for, I don't know, probably 5-10 minutes. Just kind of let everything totally go through a heat cycle, warm up, expand, get some of the rubber back going. I won't film that just because I'm going to turn the fans on so I'm not smoking myself out. But pretty stoked with that. Oh, revved it too much. But cool, I'll start it back up, and like I said, I'm going to let it idle for probably 5 or 10 minutes to let everything warm up, and then I'll bring you guys back. So it's been running for about 5 or so minutes and seems to be doing Seems to be doing really well. I checked the charging system and I'm getting like 16 or 17 volts at idle. So we're definitely going to need to put a new voltage regulator on it. That seems to not really be working. Now that it's been running for a minute, I want to pull the clutch and put it in gear and just kind of start to check the transmission and see how all that's going. Alright guys, well, I'm going to label that a success. Let me turn my fuel off here. I mean, it doesn't really get much smoother than that. Those carbs are pretty darn gross, so it did cause a little bit of a delay because we did have to buy the carb kit. Sometimes I can get away with just rebuilding them temporarily with kind of the OE parts, but if you saw my picture on Instagram, at Classic Octane, if you don't follow me already, man, those carbs are gross on the inside, and of course you saw in this video as well. So I'm super excited. This thing runs as well as you could expect a bike that hasn't run in this amount of time. I mean, fires right up, idled nicely, revs nicely. I don't even think I need to do a carb sync. I didn't have to do a float adjustment, so I think the bike was well taken care of before it was parked. And that's just helping us along the way to getting it back on the road. Well, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thanks for sticking around. I know this one was a little bit delayed, like I said, because we had to wait for some parts to come in. So I'm working really hard to get back onto a regular schedule, at least one video a week, maybe more. In the next video, we are probably going to start to dive into the bike a little bit further. I'm going to go ahead and pressure wash it and just give it a good clean and make sure it's like a really good starting point for us. But what I really want to do is start to take a lot of the parts we know we're not going to use off and really get a good idea of what the bones of the bike look like, and then start to order some parts for the actual build itself. I know a lot of you guys wanted me to do just a stock restoration on this bike. It does have some rust spots in some areas, and to be honest with you, I don't think it's going to be a good candidate for a stock restoration without a lot of work. I mean, the bolts and stuff are like rusty. Like, you just have to take everything apart and clean everything, and the bike is just not that desirable. Sorry for you Kawasaki fans to justify doing that. And like I said, I really want to see what can be done with a build of a model like this, because there really aren't that many out there. So don't worry, we do have a close to stock resto mod type build coming soon for those of you guys who want to see something more like that. But this one we're probably going to cut up, and I'm sure it'll make some of you mad, but some of you will be excited about it. So again, I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys soon.